Rachel never liked working the night shift at Cedarwood Hospital, but the bills had piled up, leaving her little choice. The silence of the empty halls, broken occasionally by distant echoes and humming fluorescent lights, set her nerves on edge every single night. However, it was the morgue she dreaded the most. Something about the place always felt wrong. It was precisely 2:43 a.m. when her pager buzzed violently against her hip, jolting her from her thoughts. Urgent, morgue, body preparation needed immediately. She sighed deeply, gathering her courage as she made her way down the dim, empty corridors toward the basement. The air grew colder, heavier, the further down she went, as if the shadows clung tighter to her with every step. Pushing open the heavy steel doors of the morgue, she felt a rush of icy air that seemed colder than usual. "Hello?" Rachel called softly, her voice bouncing eerily off the sterile white tiles. No response. Only the humming of refrigerated units filled the empty space. She walked cautiously toward the preparation table, glancing at the file lying beside it. Patient, unknown, found, abandoned building, severe trauma, prepare for immediate examination. Rachel hesitated. Unknown bodies always made her uncomfortable. With trembling fingers, she unzipped the black bag covering the corpse. Her breath caught sharply in her throat. The corpse was a woman, pale as marble, lips tinged blue, eyes closed gently as if peacefully asleep. But Rachel felt her pulse quicken. A thin, dark line curved into a slight smile across the dead woman's lips. Suddenly, the lights flickered once, twice, then plunged the room into complete darkness. Rachel's heartbeat echoed in her ears as panic tightened her chest. She scrambled for her phone, her fingers fumbling with the flashlight app. A faint beam of light finally sliced through the blackness, illuminating the table. It was empty. Rachel spun around, her breath ragged. The corpse was gone. "This isn't funny," she whispered into the void, gripping the phone so tightly her knuckles turned white. The room grew colder, her breath forming visible clouds in the dark. From the corner of her eye, Rachel saw movement, a flash of pale flesh disappearing behind the large metal cabinet at the far end of the morgue. She froze, eyes wide, throat tightening. Another sound echoed, a wet, dragging noise, as though bare feet slid slowly across the tiled floor. "Hello?" Rachel called out, voice shaking. "Who's there?" Silence answered. Her flashlight flickered weakly, casting distorted shadows that danced menacingly on the walls. Heart pounding painfully, she inched towards the exit, feeling the darkness pressing ever closer. The dragging sound returned, louder, closer. Rachel swung her flashlight towards the noise, illuminating a figure at the far side of the room. The corpse stood upright, head slightly tilted, her long dark hair draped across her face, covering most of her features except that chilling, unmoving smile. Rachel stumbled backward, terror seizing her muscles. The figure began moving, shuffling slowly but steadily toward her. The sound of dragging bare feet echoed louder, deafening in the oppressive silence. She turned and ran blindly toward the hallway, her breath sharp and painful in her chest. As she reached the morgue doors, they slammed shut with impossible force, trapping her inside. "Help! Somebody!" Rachel screamed, pounding desperately against the cold steel doors. They didn't budge. She spun around, pressing her back against them as the corpse stopped mere feet away. The woman's head lifted slightly, hair parting just enough to reveal hollow black eyes staring directly at Rachel. The smile widened slowly, grotesquely stretching far beyond the limits of a human face. Rachel felt dizzy, her vision blurring, limbs weakening. As the figure reached out pale, lifeless hands towards her, Rachel slumped to the floor, consciousness slipping away, swallowed by darkness. "Rachel?" A gentle voice stirred her awake. Blinking slowly, she saw Dr. Ellis leaning over her, concern etched deeply on his face. "What happened?" she croaked weakly, trying to rise. "We found you unconscious here," he replied softly. "Must have fainted. Night shifts are rough." Rachel scanned the morgue, bathed now in comforting daylight. No sign of the smiling corpse, no traces of terror. Only the familiar chill remained. Dr. Ellis placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Why don't you go home early tonight?" Nodding silently, Rachel staggered to her feet, relieved but deeply unsettled. She gathered her belongings quickly and stepped into the bright morning sun, determined to put this nightmare behind her. But as she left, a janitor mopped the morgue floor, pausing at something strange. Kneeling, he touched a thin line etched deeply into the tile, a perfect arc, like someone had carved it with a razor. He traced it curiously, realizing suddenly that he was standing precisely where Rachel had fallen. Behind him, unnoticed, the refrigerated drawers began humming louder, one gently sliding open, revealing the smiling corpse once more, patiently waiting for the next night shift to begin.